Welcome to the Infinite Star Connection podcast. We are your hosts, my dear friend Jeff Demers and myself, Viviane Chauvet. We are over the moon today. Three, I would say, very special guests. But allow me to introduce you to two most amazing light worker, beautiful human being, and of course, cosmic beings. Have you ever heard of the Mitchell-Hedges Crystal Skull? Well, you are about to discover. But let me introduce you to William Homann and Catherine Lanigan, guardian of the Crystal Skull today. And Bill was a surgeon in the United States Air Force in the early 1970s when he first heard of F.A. Mitchell-Hedges and his exploits and discoveries. So he continued on his research until he met Anna Mitchell-Hedges and the famous Crystal Skull. It is in 2007 that Bill became the legal guardian of the famous skull when Anna passed away. Bill has traveled all over the world with the skull, working with Aboriginal tribes like Maya and Native Indigenous Elders to raise humanity's understanding and consciousness. Now, Catherine, on the other hand, is a wonderful international best-selling and award-winning author of over 60 published titles in both fiction and nonfiction, including the novelizations of Romancing the Stones and The Jewel of the Nile, as well as half a dozen anthologies, including Chicken Soup for the Soul, Living Your Dream, Chicken Soup for the Writer's Soul, and much more. Catherine's novel has been translated in over more than 24 languages. And of course, her website, the link is in the description today. I'm going to invite you to click. Look at all the incredible award that she won, all her titles, the books, her accomplishment, whether it's also a trilogy on angelic intervention in human life, Angel Watch, Divine Nudges, and many, many more. Very accomplished author, and we are absolutely delighted to welcome both of you today, Bill and Catherine. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. We really enjoy being here with you, and I've been following what you've been doing and the great work you are doing, and it's such an important time. And
Yes.
we're just a open heart to be able to do this work now. So it's really exciting.
It is exciting, and obviously, you have been on your journey and be of service in so many ways. And Catherine, I just want to, based on just an aspect of your impressive bio, all the accomplishment, I mean, the publication, the inspiration, the title, the award that you have earned as a result of your dedication to your work. I mean, it's just incredible. I can't wait myself to go to your website, simply CatherineLanigan.com. Again, all the links, everything is in the description today. But let's just begin from the beginning. How does this all start for you in terms of not only your own journey, but leading up to being the legal guardian of a crystal skull? It's very, very intriguing.
Uh, let's see it. Well, it's been definitely a journey, and being with this crystal skull with Anna was like always something would happen. There's never a boring moment around her because something would happen, something would change, and we'd be doing and meeting different people. After she passed, it's no different because have traveled all over the world with a skull, and as I'm learning more and more how the skull is activated, how it works, and how to get and use it better. It's special gifts because each one of the 13 skulls are a little bit different on what they do. And the Mitchell-Hedges skull is one that very well connects with people. So when you're with the skull, it mirrors your inner self and it brings out your gifts and ability because the people here now are here because they've chosen to be here to help the world at a time that we are really going through a very high upgrade and looking to ascend from a place of being held back with by our own self to freeing ourself and becoming our full spiritual beings. And so it's what's happening right now. Before we start, I think would you like to meet the skull? Because it's right here with us. And so here's the Mitchell-Hedges skull. And it's considered the most mysterious artifact in the world. And if you read a lot of stuff, this person says this one says this, but as far as what it is and what it does, no one knows where it came. And it's in a mysterious thing where there's things about it now that still couldn't be duplicated, even with the highest technology they have today. So it's made against the grain, which would be something that would be pretty impossible because crystal is very hard. It's number 7 on the scale of hardness, but it is very brittle. So if you have to follow certain procedures of cutting the crystal, and cutting it wrong, it wouldn't be here. So it is here. So how it was made has lenses and prisms that are built inside the crystal. And so it guides the light around in different channels. So if you put a light underneath it, there's a 90-degree turn that shoots the light out the eyes. So that's probably a pretty good effect back, maybe 1,000 or 2 a year ago, where they had this in a cave someplace and with light underneath it, and all of a sudden the light was shown in the bottom and comes out the eyes. I think that would probably make all the people watching it probably do whatever they were told to do at the time. So it has these mysterious qualities. It's made out of piezoelectric quartz, the same kind of quartz you make computer chips out of. And the belief is that it has stored the knowledge of the universe has been stored inside the skull. And so it is here at a time is said that the world needs help. And that's pretty much what I'm doing, because I definitely am in line with that and believe that we definitely need help now. And the help one of the main things that does is it channels universal love. And you can pretty well, when it starts to work, you're able to feel it and feel it right in your heart. And it's that universal love is pretty much the key of all the most the power that is in the world at the highest level is that love. And so being able to connect to love, connect with other people, bringing the human race together as one consciousness, and seeing the possibility of moving into this higher consciousness, it's really the time for the skull, and that's what it's doing here. It's helping people to remember who and what they are, and I find as I work with people that the people that are drawn to it have these different special gifts that they have and that can be brought out through connecting with the skull. So I find that really exciting. And I've worked with thousands of people, and I've never really found 2 people the same. And you start working with someone, and it just seems like, okay, and all of a sudden you find out all this stuff, and it's quite an adventure just being able to do that. And I found that at one time I wanted to take the skull over the world and show the skull, and felt that connection was important. But now the skull is telling me that the people that are supposed to see it are being connected to and being brought to it. So now the people that are coming are saying that, well, I had a dream and it was there, and now, and there's all different reasons why, but it's because they have that connection. So it's a beautiful adventure. And the whole thing in life is, if you can find out what your gift is to help humanity, there's nothing better than that. And no matter what it is, some people want, they're trying to rule the world or something, but what the real gift is, connecting to your spirit and becoming all that you can be. So that's kind of the excitement, that's working with the skull and finding with people. And so,
Mm. Hey, incredible, Bill. Let's just make a pause here. I just want
okay,
to acknowledge everything you just shared, and I'm going to invite everyone to really feel that connection or allowing yourself to establish that connection. And I want to also acknowledge our wonderful audience from South Africa, Iceland, Canada, in Europe, everywhere in the US, of course, across the United States, and different places in the world, all the way also to New Zealand. We are very grateful for your presence. I like to acknowledge the audience always along the way. Now, I am curious, and I know Jeff will have question as well, of course. There there are many crystal skull out there. I mean, we've encountered them, whether it's, you know, in crystal collections or people carry them in their pocket, or we
right.
have different size of. So just to establish the uniqueness of the Mitchell-Hedges Crystal Skull, what make this one unique compared to the variety of crystal skull available out there?
Well, it's considered the master skull of the 13, and
Oh,
it is, I find that it was made to connect with the other skulls. So wherever the skulls are, most of them have, a lot of them have been buried in different places for safekeeping, but some of them they're all multi-dimensional, so they do travel, and some of them are not even on the planet, and they're working with whatever their gifts are to help humanity. So what I find different about the skull is it's an entity of energy. So it's like uh, meeting. Some people think, oh, it's a it's a skull and a scary thing, but the skull was made in that shape because it would be something through the ages that would be either loved or feared, but either way, it would be protected. It would be protected for thousands of years because as you see it, there's so much beauty, and you can feel the love that comes into it and the love that was made when it was made. There's so much of that energy. And there's a lot of fun because when it works like this, it gives me different energies that it's giving out. And I think everyone's feeling this lightness and fun. So that's a good feeling. I like that. So uh, it it is here to help mankind, as I said, and it's helping connect with the other skulls. It was found in 1924 by a British explorer looking for a connection between Atlantis and the Maya. And he found an ancient city that was covered up in the jungles down in British Honduras, which is now Belize. And they took 4 years to uncover 7 pyramids, ball courts, spiritual centers, etc. But in the tallest one, the kids were told to stay off of it. And his adopted daughter Anna was, to me, I think she was the real Indiana Jones with her, because of her adventurous spirit. So I say Indiana Jones was a woman, but as a child, they snuck up on top of it because they wanted to see the ocean. They said if you went to the top, you could see it. And everybody was taking a siesta in the middle of the day. And then her and a few of the kids went to the top to see it. And the earthquake had moved the rocks and also trees growing through it. There were openings. And when the sun hit it just right at high noon, there was a light inside the skull, inside the pyramid. And so when she ran down and told her dad she was in trouble, but the next day when she woke up, he had all the men out there and they were starting to move the stones, and they were moving them too fast and it started to collapse. And so they backed off, and then they did one big stone at a time till they got a hole big enough for a small person. And Anna was chosen since she was 16 at the time, and she was lowered into this pyramid when they had a big enough hole, and she went into it and she felt around and she put it in her shirt, and that's when she came up in the top of the skull. The skull is perfectly made in two pieces. It's piezoelectric quartz, and it's unusual because there's that special energy that can be felt even when you're not in his presence, just by being there, or people feel it when it comes to a lot of people and they feel it that way. This is a big story, so I don't mean to be jumping around, but trying to get out as much information as I can. But so she had the skull, and her father turned it over to the natives because it was touched them so strongly, and they put it on an altar, and they built fire that around it 24 hours a day, and people would come from all over to see it. And Mitchell-Hedges was then, when they closed it off 2 years later, it was presented back to him because they believed in him. He would always bring food, he'd bring medicine, he'd bring doctors down there to help the people. They didn't just take, and they loved him, and they figured he would take care of it. So it went with him in 24, 25, and he had it till he passed away in 59. So the skull is like, it's, what do you do with it? It's like a tool. It's like if you had a musical instrument. Let's say you had a Stradivarius violin, and all the neighbor kids are coming over and they're trying to play it, and they're getting some really strange noises. So the skull is a tool that is used to help mankind. But in Anna's last part of her life, she trained me in what to do and how to take care of it, how to communicate with it, and how to turn it off and turn it on whenever it needs to be, depending on what's around it and what the situation is. And with that, it taught me to be like the great violinist that can play this beautiful instrument. And that's pretty much what it's all about. When the skull was found, there was only 3 crystal skulls in the world that were known. The one in the British Museum, the one in the French Museum, and the Mitchell-Hedges. And it was pretty much that way all the way till after Mitchell-Hedges passed. And then Anna did a show called Miracle of the Gods, I believe, with William Shatner, where they went into all these different historical legends, and they worked with the skull there, and it was first seen. And then it was on Arthur C. Clarke when he had a show, and it would be at the beginning of the show, and it would be turning just like this. And the skull has a way of going into somebody's subconscious, and it connects with something very deep inside. And if there is a connection with the skull, it'll be felt very strong. And some people, they just walk past it like nothing, but the ones that have the connection are definitely drawn to it. And so I find that those are some of the interesting facts about the skull. So it was found by Anna Mitchell-Hedges going into the pyramid that had been buried for 1,000 years. At the time, all the way up to 1970, there was only the 3 skulls found. Once the skull was on television and in the movies, people saw it, and that awakened people to it. And then people started making these skulls and carving them and finding some different ones. But before that, there was only the 3. And so it's like the skull is like a pond, and it's throwing the rock in it, because skulls, like skulls, they really are, there's a communication between them of this healing energy and love that permeates through the skulls if with the right frequency. So that's why it's really beautiful that they are all these skulls, because it's helping raise consciousness of humanity, and it's raising it at the time that we really need it, because everything's falling in place for a time of ascension where we'll not everyone, because it's going to be, some people will choose to it and some people won't, but the ones that do choose it will be coming into a more of a it's almost like a heavenly place because it's working with higher conscious of love and light and freedom and joy and peace and working for each other and the family as we are really all connected in our spiritual self to each other. So it's not like Joe Blow here and Pete here. We're spiritually all connected. And as we come into that understanding and raise the consciousness, it is a beautiful time to be alive, but it's definitely a tumultuous time because we're going through a lot of stuff right now. And the thing to do is just sit back and enjoy the ride because good things are coming if you allow it. Again, remember that we are the creators. And so if we can stay positive in what we want, if we choose love instead of fear, we'll be able to find this higher blessed place. And we're guided so much, as you know, by the various different groups of ETs that are here working and watching us and very interested in our ascension process right now. And so it's not boring, is it?
That's an interesting way to put it indeed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jeff, my friend, comments, question, anything you want to ask?
Does that skull, obviously it oscillates because it's a piezoelectric? Has anybody ever measured the frequency it oscillates in?
You know what? Not, they've done other tests. Some of the best and non bias tests were done by Hewlett Packard in the 70s. And when they did their tests, they were the experts in crystal in the world. The scientists were the best in the world, and they determined that it shouldn't be here. It's impossible. So but they didn't really work with the frequency. But you're right. Light, sound, and frequency is what the skull is all about.
Is there any way to connect to that skull other than meditation?
We what?
Is there any other way to connect to the skull other than meditation?
Well, meditation just brings a person into a higher consciousness, and the skull works on that consciousness. You connect with that, and then you more or less can download and work with it freely. If you are able to connect with that frequency and let it work through you. So that's what's neat when we work with the skull, and that's why Kath and I work so well with it, because I can connect to different blockages in people and help them to see it, understand it, and remove it. Where the skull communicates directly, and it tells her usually past lives, because that's where the problem area is in people, and they carry these lives with them, for eons, and it's some little problem that keeps them from becoming all that they can be. So I always say it's like you got a river here with a big rock in it, and by removing the rock, it flows better, and you come into your full self and your full power. So that's how we look at it. And it's they say that the knowledge in the skull was stored on light particles inside of it, and they're coming to a technology today that they're able to store light knowledge on light in crystals, and they're able to remove and bring the data out. So no one has really come into that area, but I would say that's the possibility of that could be something that we could find quite interesting.
Now, the skull obviously looks like a human, but it's much bigger than a human skull. Is there a reason why it is
it's
bigger?
not much bigger. It's just that it looks that way right now, but it's
not.
It's anatomically correct, and it's more or less similar to, you could say, like a Mayan type thing. It's got a little bit of elongated head, but I found a picture of one of the oldest skulls ever found, over 1,000,000 years. And I have that picture. And if you would look at it, the shape of the face and everything is probably the closest I've seen to any skull that any human skull before. So that's my knowledge of it, that area.
Very good. Okay.
So
Now, that's absolutely incredible, and I want to continue to connect, not only to allowing the Crystal Skull to talk to everyone, like you said, Bill, really uniquely, but the thing is just to allowing, feel the energy. What is your relationship, Catherine, to the skull and your experience with it, if I may ask?
Well, the first time I saw the skull was about 30 years ago at Bill's house, and Anna was there, and my brother-in-law and my sister went with me, and Bill was like, "Oh, I want you to see the crystal skull." And I said, "Okay," and my sister was like, "Really? Okay, let's do it." So we went over, and the minute that I sat down next to it, I started feeling faint. I was just like, whoa, I was like, I needed to hold on to the table. And my sister was so excited. She said, "This is the most beautiful, coolest thing I've ever seen in my life." She was just like, overwhelmed with joy and happiness. And just, she just like, I never want to leave this space. That's how my sister-in-law was. My brother-in-law was the opposite. He was like, "Let's get out of here. There's something evil about it. I got to go, blah, blah." And I kept getting more and more faint. Although the energy was just so, and it was all this energy pouring through me, but also messages and things. I was just like, what is going on? I mean, the minute I walked in the room. And, so my sister said to Bill, she said, "You need to go get her some orange juice or something, because she will disappear right in front of us. That's happened before. Please, we got to get her grounded." And so Bill went and got me some orange juice, and I drank the orange juice. And now my brother-in-law was just like frantic. "Oh my God, we got to get out of here. Something's happening. Cat's disappearing." So
it's never boring.
it was not boring. So that was my first experience. That's 30 years ago, or maybe 30, a little more than 30 years ago. So and then since then, it's many times when even I don't have to actually sit with it or sit with him or anything like that, even though he's around me a lot. But he does give me a lot of messages for humanity. Now, but I need to backtrack a little bit. I have always been able to talk to the angels. Now, there was, back when I was 3 years old, there was no such word as channeling. I still don't call it channeling, because I just talk to the angels, period. So there's something in me that just connects to anything that's divine. I don't get any kind of bad guys. I call them the bad guy. I don't get any that kind of thing. I get what it is that I need to know, or that humanity needs to know. And of course, I put it into 5, books on angels. So I was probably wired from birth, I have been told, wired from birth to be able to pick up a lot of these frequencies, the messages that come through, when the skull wants me to. If there's something, a warning or anything like that, no matter where I am, he will tell me. I'll just stop dead still and go, oh. He also has a great sense of humor with me as well. And that's really fun, because they'll have little jokes and stuff. I'm just going, and they always grab me from behind. I love it. I think it's great. So I have like a kind of a fun, it's not just a real, he is a really fun kind of guy, So I don't, it's not always serious stuff, but even in his humor, he's always bringing through wisdom. So that's my explanation of how it's been.
Thank you so much, Catherine, and I honor and respect your beautiful gift to talk to angelic beings and to bring. So, speaking of messages for humanity, some members of our audience are saying, "Well, if the skull is a skull of love and having all this energy, doesn't mean that we also receiving healing energies or healing frequencies from the skull itself."
Yeah, the skull,
Right.
I can't say it's going to heal everybody, but it heals on different levels. So
Right.
it works on mental, physical, spiritual, and psychic levels. And here's somebody that has a bad knee or something like that. And what the real cause is something that's connected to a family thing, maybe a parent or something like that. And the skull will work on healing the problem where it started.
The origination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but the healing is, a lot of it is spiritual healing. And I think
Right.
that's really what the people are at this point in history or in time need, the spiritual healing. And so the love brings through that energy of peace and healing and love, and it comes out and just, you'll feel it right in your heart. It's really pretty neat how it works.
Mhm.
Oh, there, whoa, and it puts a smile on your face. So yeah,
I got a quick question. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you give the question.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
How do the animals react around the skull? Do you have any cats or
Oh.
dogs or anything?
well,
Well, they love them.
yeah, when we do meditations, all the cats come up, sit on the person that's, they're in,
They
because
just like cuddle up, and
We
the
do
dogs do the same.
yeah, we do the Zoom things, and the cats jump on their laps and they fall asleep, and dogs, yeah, the dogs come. What a lot of it is birds too.
Yeah, I agree.
I was
Oh my
at
God! Don't even start on the bird thing with me.
okay.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, like we were out at the ocean down in Florida, and there's a sitting there, and all of a sudden a pelican landed. It walked up right in front of it. I have this on video. And he just stood there and looking at him, kind of shaking his head at the skull. And he was there for like 5 minutes. Then he turned around and walked, and then flew away. And then there was
Then we went to Lake Michigan.
yeah,
the
same time
seagulls.
the seagulls are really drawn to it too.
There's no birds in sight or anything, and then we put him down, and all of a sudden there's these little guys. They walk up, and they look at him, and then they kind of walk back, and then they go back a little closer. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's, well, we love the animals. We
Yeah,
love
we
the
do.
birds. We love all the animals, and the skull seems like it does too. So it's being connected to nature.
Oh yes.
Well, it will make sense if it's an ancient, very much ancient. So being in a form of crystal skull. Now, going back into the point where the skull itself was discovered, I talk about a story of Anna Mitchell-Hedges and how, I think it was back in Belize that you mentioned that the skull was discovered, the connection between potentially Atlantis and the Mayans in that connection. I've been to Belize, to the pyramids. I've seen the Temple of the Sun, Temple of the Moon, and others. And I did feel that reminiscence, almost like the influence, like the at the end of the fifth cycle of Atlantis, when Atlantis was finally released and some of the Atlantean went into different part of the world, I felt that energy there in Belize. But when Anna discovered the crystal skull and obviously, was turned over and the history, and throughout all the years that you've been the legal guardian, has the skull ever revealed to you more of a point of origination or a purpose in terms of what the skull has either been returned to the planet or created on the planet? Was there any that type of information revealed to you?
Yes, well, you know what? I've been working with a lot of some top shamans, the top spiritual leaders, and over the years, and working with that, and then working with the skull, it's come through because I worked with a shaman that was at the that's down at where the skull was found, and his grandfather is his, and he
Was
taught.
there.
He was his teacher, and he taught him that he was there when the skull was found. And so they say it is a communicator with the gods, and it was brought here by the star people.
Mhm.
And so
Mm.
that being the case, and that's what that's how they've passed that down. I know that opened me up, and also with the work I've been doing, I've been connected to where it came from. It came from a area outside of our galaxy that's not the planet itself. I don't think is even here anymore,
Right.
and it was brought here, and I believe first went to Venus and was there before it was brought to the Earth. But it was the one of the 13, and so the other ones were brought here and put in different places too. That's why some of them they're not even connected to the physical Earth. They're different dimensions, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been experienced that experience of being there when the skull was created with a thought form.
Hmm. Yeah, both of us have.
Oh, both of you have. That's incredible.
Yeah, well, you think, why would I be? For a long time I thought, why would I have this responsibility?
Right.
I loved it and everything, but why? But
Right.
there's a reason for everything, and people go, oh, it should be me or whatever. I have the connection and I have the purpose to be doing the work at this time, and I'm trying with my heart to fulfill and follow what I've been told to do.
Hmm.
And so that's why I do this work, and it's my joy to do it and help people.
Mm.
Would you say that?
Incredible.
Would you say that the skull chose you?
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I didn't choose the skull. The skull chooses. Yeah,
Correct.
because it can't be sold. It can only be gifted.
Mhm.
But it chose me to do the work because I guess I was born at the proper time in the proper place, and I just I don't understand it all, but I just open my heart to love and just go with that feeling.
Obviously, it was part of your soul purpose all along, soul agreements. There's a great question in the chat room for both of you. You can really tune in from Denise. Denise said, I have been in the presence of two other crystal skull, one named Max and the other one named Shanara.
Son around,
And
yeah.
she wants to know if the Mitchell, the one that you have under your care, the skull has been with those two other crystal skulls.
Well, I'm friends with the new owner of Max, and I'm
Oh, okay.
friends, yeah, with the other owner too. So we're good friends, and over the years, and so we've had the skulls together. We put them together, and it was, it's always been a blessing and a really neat feeling. So yeah.
Beautiful. And like you mentioned, is there a reason that there's a number 13 and there will be 13 skull around the world? Is there a purpose behind that?
Nothing happens without a purpose, but the 13 being the number it is, just like the number of disciples, it was
12
12
plus Jesus.
disciples and Jesus,
It's
and
13.
there's that is not just, it's in a lot of the other, the different Egyptian legends
Luckiest number.
and also the different Tibetan and different ones throughout the world have that same connection to the 13. So it is a power number of bringing the energy in balance,
Right.
and
Okay.
balance is what it is really all about right now, is getting getting us in balance and connected to our true self.
Absolutely. Well, if you are all in agreement, I think that it will please everyone also tuning in right now. Would you like to, just for a first level, help us to connect deeper with your crystal friend? And I know that some people in the chat room have reported feeling a bit dizzy, others are feeling, differently. So is it possible that the experience of the crystal skull is very unique to everyone?
That's why people are drawn to it, and that's what we find. And when people come to see it, that's what's so exciting, because then they find, they fill an area that they've never, some of them never knew, and some of them felt, but they didn't understand it. So that's pretty exciting. And what it is that energy is waking up things inside of you. So instead of, it's like you're swimming down a river and you're swimming against the river, and you'd say, well, I'll just turn around and go with the river. When you do that, it makes it a lot easier. And that's how it is with the skull. So as you feel that energy, instead of trying to figure it out, just relax and go with it. And it'll take you to some very exciting, fun places and bring in that higher knowledge, which is really beautiful.
Mm, I love it. I feel like a wave coming through. So how about, if you want, Bill, to connect with, of course, the crystal skull, and then Catherine, if there's any, you talk about messages to humanity, maybe something at the stage of where we are, maybe a message, something that may come through. If that's the case, we welcome it, and let your heart guide the way. So maybe we can just do a gentle connection
Sure will.
into maybe a meditation or something. Would you like to lead one?
Oh, I'd love to. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
No, you stay right there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see right there from there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Don't move.
So what you want to do is just right now, just kind of let your hands, because the skull has an energy field that comes off the top.
Hmm?
There's one that's here, there's one that's here, and the two on the sides. And so these are like cones of energy. And if you look at the old saints, you'll see the halo around it. And that's pretty much, it's the halo of energy that the skull has. And each one has a little bit different energy. So if you take your hands, it's like a handshake with the skull. Just put your hands toward the skull for a second, just like that, and just relax. Oh, there we go. He's enjoying this. Yeah. So I'm bringing the energy in, and just let it fill you, and you'll feel it in your heart, your third eye. It's just really nice. And it's giving lots of freedom and joy. So let that just come through. And this Creator's love, the Creator is loving you so much. And what I want you to do is put your mind on your third eye, and then just take your third eye and just look up into the heavens, high in the heavens up there. And you'll see this beautiful, beautiful light coming down. It's golden light, this diamond light coming from the Creator, coming down, coming down. Just follow it in your mind, coming down. And it'll go right through your crown, through your body, into the earth, right through the top of the skull, through the skull, down into the earth. And just follow it deeper and deeper into the earth, going down to the heart of the mother. And the mother has so much love. And so as soon as it touches her heart, you'll feel the energy start coming back up. And it's this beautiful sunset pink, and it's coming up, going through your feet into your heart. Oh, there, feel that love. And it's through the skull, into the skull, and it's building in the skull, building the energy, building. And then you'll just feel this light that's shooting from the skull and let it go right into your heart. And it just feel us all connecting in one love and one light. Oh, there. It's like we're all connected in this circle of light. And then you just feel yourself, and you just let yourself go, and we're going to go right up higher and higher in the sky together as a group, all connected. And as you look up higher in the sky, you'll be able to look down and you see the whole of the earth below you. And you're just feeling that joy because it's filling you so much with that joy and love. And you are a light worker of light and love. So you have that power to send the light into the world. And we want peace on earth, goodwill. And we need the healing and joy, waking up people that they have and what they are. So just send that love into the world. You feel it going right through you. And you can see the whole of the earth turning this beautiful gold and light. And just wherever it needs it, you can put more light right there. If there's war, disease, famine, anything that is out of balance, send light. You have the power. Whoa, feel it now. It's so strong. There you go. Okay. Will bring us all back into our circle of light, coming back into the circle of light. And just for a minute, I'm taking you into a timeline. This is your new timeline. And I want you to see your life, fill it with joy, peace, happiness, prosperity, with good friends, good joy all around you. It's your timeline. You can make it any way you want. The only thing that stops you is you. And since you're not stopping yourself, you're free to be and do anything. And just feel that some big thing was just opening up there. You did it. You did it. I'm thanking and blessing you for you were able to see it and open it, whatever that was. You just brought it open and brought the light in stronger. So just hold that joy in your heart, the peace in your heart, the love. So now I want to bring us back to our circle. All the circle, we're circled with this beautiful light coming back down. And now I'll bring us all back on the count of 5. Just 1, just let the energy flow back into your body. 2, just let it flow through you out your fingertips and toes. 3 is where you hold all the love that you worked and you felt and you are a part of. It's so beautiful, it's yours. 4, you just think of each day when you wake up. It's new day to be and do anything. Create your world. 5 has been counted, and I bring you back whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, bring yourself back. God's love, and thank you to all those great beings that are working with us. Thank the skulls. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was incredible. There's so much energy flowing right now. So please, everybody, take the time to really integrate at your own pace. Remember, your higher self guides you in the process. You're receiving only that what serves your highest and the greatest good. And it's incredible. And I've been asked in the chat room to share from an Octran perspective. So if it's okay, I'd like to take a few moments just to.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, thank you. And then we want to continue, and of course, more questions. From a personal journey, I've never been very drawn to crystal skulls overall. I'm not fond of the shape of a skull itself. In the past, I have met only one other skull. I have no names to give, but it was a beautiful clear quartz, a lot smaller. And that skull, during a private meditation, the consciousness of that being took me out of the body and into a journey. So that being in the form of a crystal skull was most likely one of the 13, except I have no names to the crystal. I only remember the being. When we met, Bill and Catherine, and with your beautiful, I call him your crystal friend, we never met in person, but even over Zoom, the consciousness of this being is very, very ancient. And right away, the consciousness of the Mitchell-Hedges Crystal Skull right now communicate with me and acknowledge me as an Arcturian, very, very ancient Arcturian being. And so from that moment, the consciousness of the crystal skull said, would you let me show you? And I remember when we had a few private Zoom meetings, immediately the connection was established where the consciousness of this being will reveal itself to me and talk to me in a way. And I saw, a shape and form. And even today, as you're conducting this incredible, profound transmission and meditation, the skull was communicating with me. And we are greeting each other as two very ancient consciousness. And the energy that I felt coming directly from this particular being, I like to prefer to call it this being, this ancient conscious intelligence communicating with me. And he was talking, giving me messages that only belongs to me. But the point is that I am thrilled to see an ancient being in the form of a very beautiful, pure, clear quartz crystal skull communicating to my consciousness as an intergalactic being. And I think that was absolutely incredible. And I want to share that because, you know me, I'm always very open, very consistent, very, very diligent into what we share. And for me to be able to feel a connection to this particular skull, I know that it is a very ancient being. And Bill and Catherine, we are both of you very grateful for having accepting this journey and to share the wisdom of how it came about, how it was discovered through Anna and then through you, Bill, and then with you, Catherine. And I know you also work, I think, with the Indigenous tribe, and I think recently you were traveling and you work with an Indigenous tribe and elders, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah, we just came back from the West Coast, and we were working with the Chumash Indians at their place where their sacred stone is. That it has when the and the different equinox and the solstice happen. That you can follow it on the stone, and it moves along in like a razor thin line across till it hits the center where it's perfectly in line with the fall equinox it was. So that was beautiful and a beautiful energy for sure. But the the Chumash are very connected. Now we work, with the Lantean. The reason Mitchell-Hedges was down there, he was looking for a connection between Atlantis and the Mayan. He felt that's what he was looking for. He was looking for that connection. Now the Chumash, they have strong connections with Lemuria, and Lemuria connection is between where they are on the coast there
Santa Barbara.
in the Santa Barbara Mountains, but then all the way over to Mount Fuji, and then also to the Hawaiian Islands. So it's like a pyramid of energy. But so they feel they are the descendants of Lemuria. And what I felt was so important at this time is I felt the connection now was needed to raise the consciousness of female energy, because it's about balance. And what's has happened over the years where it's been brought down, it's now needed to come up to its full power and be able to share in equality with the male female energy balanced. And so that's one of the things that drew us, and the skull wanted to be there for that. And I found that very powerful. I want to just throw this in real quick. A year ago, in May, we were in Egypt, and one of the last places we were was we spent several hours in the king's chamber. And I had a dream about that before I even knew I was going there. And I forgot about it. But when I was there, it came back. And what it was, on the one side, there was a key. And it was important to open that key. So I went to that where it was supposedly at, and I used frequency, a 963 frequency and a 432. And with using the frequency, it opened up a chamber etherically between the king and the queen's chamber, and it balanced out the energy of Atlantis and Lemuria. And that started last year. So this was in going along with the program to be there at the Chumash site was very important in fulfilling this whole thing. But the interesting thing, the Egyptologist that was there at the door watching everything, she said while we were doing it, that she could see the pyramid undulating. And so,
Oh,
yeah,
It was the walls were moving.
yeah. And so that was about probably 6 months before they found all that stuff underneath it. So, because it really did start energy flowing in a way, a really powerful way. I found that quite interesting. With this, you don't always know why you do things, but you go with the flow, and it takes you some pretty interesting adventures along the way, for sure.
Yep.
yeah, that's a really good point. Again, thank you for this amazing transmission meditation. Catherine, was it anything you want to share following up this meditation?
There were a few messages that came through, and one of them, almost the whole time that we've been together, I saw Christ is in there bringing forth the Christ consciousness. Now, we call it Christ consciousness, and it's the highest consciousness that humanity can try to reach to. It's when there's an absolute total balance between male and female, so that the person and individual is one. And he said that if there is anyone that's in the audience that he said they will all have a knowing of something that they need to rid themselves of very soon, whether it's regret, envy, jealousy, a negative emotion. It needs to go away, and go away as quickly as they can get rid of it. And then once that's done, the joy and the peace will just flood into them. The ascension is very, very close for a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people, which will happen on the winter solstice of this year. the 21st of December, there were a lot of angels that came in. There was a huge celestial force that came in that said they are here to help us through all this by the billions, not millions, billions of angels, almost like extra angels for every single human person who's got a soul. They are helping us to make that transition into the new earth, or whatever you want to say, the ascension, the new earth, whatever. Then after that was this just stream of all of our galactic brothers and sisters coming in to watch over everything, watch the process. They're reporting back to the other galaxies. They are helping. They're literally, okay, what he said was back up to the angels. They are like back up to the angels. The angels are here, the highest force working, but the galactics are making sure that it really happens. And I mean, as I'm talking, there are more and more I'm gonna call them star people coming in. They're just more and more coming in. He's showing me more and more and more. And in a fashion that I've never seen them before. I can always tell the difference between the angels and the galactics, but they're just stars of, it's just amazing. Anyway, everyone needs to understand that all of these forces, every bit of it, they're all love-based. We are so loved and so cherished for all that we are doing to save the earth and to help the earth. There are a lot of beings who are here that do not have a soul. And those of us that do have a soul, we are so protected and so loved and so cared for that nothing's going to happen to us. We're going to be protected. We're going to be loved, and we're going to go through this ascension, and we're going to have everything we want. Peace on earth. We're going to have prosperity, abundance. No one's going to be thirsty or hungry, or children will have a place to live. We'll be safe. I mean, all the things that our hearts really want for ourselves, that kind of thing. I mean, it's not everybody's going to have a Ferrari, because not everybody wants a Ferrari. I don't want one, but you know what I mean? It's not like you win the lottery and you just go buy a bunch of stuff. That's not what he's saying. There's a bunch of guys coming in. Look at all these guys. This is unbelievable. And the other thing too is there's one more thing he said is for everyone to watch for rainbow lights. Whether it's just looking out, and I mean, as we move into winter, how when the snow comes and the sun is shining through the snow, it looks like
The sun dog.
iridescent flakes coming down where they almost look like rainbow. You see all the prisms of the lights. That you're going to start seeing that. Those are signs that you're moving into the new earth. You're moving into the golden age, the new timeline, the new life that we're here to do. I mean, we're all being upgraded. Everyone watching today is being upgraded tremendously. It's a, as I say in my world, it's a really big deal for y'all to be here today and listen to this. And so that's our sign. I mean, all of a sudden now all these white lights have turned to rainbow lights. So look for that in whether it's raining or snowing or just looking at your lights, and all of a sudden they look like rainbow lights on your Christmas tree that wasn't there before, that kind of thing. You'll see them. That's their sign.
And there's a new color in the rainbow.
Yes, you're right, Bill.
And the new color just came through, and it's like the wings of a
dragonfly.
That iridescent.
They're iridescent. It's like all the colors in one, but they're translucent. The inside of it, mother of pearl. You know how the mother of pearl, and it moves. The color, it has movement to it. It moves from pink to lavender, from lavender to gold, from gold to silver, to blue to aqua. That's the new color.
So look for that if you like.
Look for that.
So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I had a strong feeling, Catherine, you will have message for us, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I
He's
think that's
very
very
talkative
important.
today, actually.
Yes.
It's like he's going, it's,
Yeah,
it's my show.
yeah, we really, we appreciate you and all you're doing. And
Yeah, we sure do.
first I heard about you, I really wanted to meet you, and I'm sure glad that we did. And anything we can do to work with you or help you in any way, we're always there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Thank you.
all, it's the energy is so cool. You feel like you're,
Yes.
yeah, the different,
Bathing in love.
yeah, and energy is high frequency. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel it so much. I'm so grateful. And
Yeah.
thank you for saying yes to your mission. Thank you for stepping forward with trust and, this dedication. And it really is. It's a dedication of the
Yeah.
soul, and you are embodying it, both of you, with this beautiful, majestic being. Jeff, my friend, uh, comment, feedback, question for our amazing guest today.
Yeah, is he? Would you consider that crystal skull part of the Akashic record holder?
Older.
Well, older,
It
but
says older.
yeah, but
It's older
yeah,
than our Akashic record.
well, it does. It has the
Yes,
knowledge
that's
of,
us,
of the
not
universe, and it's a recording device.
Mhm.
So it's recording everything now as it has in the past. So
So it's much older.
yeah, well,
The Akashic records are for human beings,
Right.
and he goes beyond that. Other galaxies, other beings,
yeah,
other.
we wouldn't really say it, but since
But
you're
yeah,
asked the
If
question,
you ask a question, he's going to answer. He's answering it. I mean, I can't help it.
Yeah.
It's not me. Blame him.
You are funny. I like the sense of humor.
He loves the sense of
yeah.
humor.
There was a question in the chat room, but before I read the question, Jeff, do you have another question you want to ask?
Go on. Go ahead.
Okay, it's a very simple question, and saying, to your knowledge, Bill and Catherine, has the crystal skull reveal a name to you?
Okay. Well, the name is communicated mind to mind, and there's names that been given throughout its history, but as far as going into the actual frequency vibration, it is given that way. So we don't really, I have names that I have been taught that I use in connection to work with the higher levels of the skull, just like, the violin player, the fine tuning. But there's ones that I've heard they say kukumats, and some people say this or that. It Because of the Mayan connection, there is a connection to Quetzalcoatl and different other entities around that. But that's about the best I can answer that.
No, it's perfect. It's it's your connection. We're here to simply, be with you and learning also from your connection. So based on you've been together and with your crystal skull for many years, what would you say that as of lately has been the most maybe profound changes you've seen, in spite of all the chaos and the surface turmoil that we're seeing, and people sometimes feel like, oh, the light beings talk about, oh, it's okay, beautiful, but at the same time nobody talks about what's happening, and I feel like we are talking about what's happening on a much more profound level. Was there any sense of guidance, in a sense of what those changes are
Yeah.
really about? What are we witnessing here on the planet?
Well, a lot of things are right in our face, and sometimes the most profound things can be right in our way, and we live a life unless we're brought to that knowledge, and we'll walk past it the whole time. But the thing is, now what's happening is the connection with our brothers and sisters on the other side that are here helping us, and the great ones are very much aware of everything, and they are being more and more into our life, especially what we have to realize is, it's always been this way, but it's very strong now. Uh, let's say you're walking down the road and you feel, oh, this doesn't feel right or something. You ask your guides, you ask your angels for help, and they're there right away. They want to help you, and they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs because you forget to ask. But and asking is the thing that's making the difference right now, because the communication as you work with them becomes stronger and stronger, and it's more, they're here, but our realization of what they are, what they're doing, and what we can do to help them in their bringing this light through, and what they are doing to help us as opening us to channels of this higher knowledge, and bringing this higher knowledge through to humanity when we're very much needing that. That is really some of the biggest change, is the closeness and the connection to the other side that are working with us very directly now.
Mm-hmm.
And by opening up our hearts and believing, you will find that it will strengthen that connection, and it'll strengthen in such a way that you'll start to trust it. And as you trust it and open up those trust channels, your whole life will change, and you will be in the joy, in the light, and you will be fulfilling what your gifts are to be here and do. So it's really exciting in that way.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It is true. And the thing is, a lot more are going to be revealed, but everything that is being revealed it really depends on our state of consciousness and willingness to see. Jeff, you mentioned something about that, about whether it's education, willingness, or there's a say that you always say about those values, about being ready. You remember that?
Yeah, it's understanding and accepting.
Ah, understanding and accepting. That's a big one. That's a really big one. And
That came from Sarah, so it wasn't mine. So.
Thank you, Sarah.
what? Yeah, who's Sarah? Just to give
Panti.
background.
My
The
Panti.
Ponti.
Yeah. She's the one that told me that people have got to understand what's going on, and only when they accept it, they can move on and go further. So you got to educate them and make them understand it, and then they will either, some people will get it and accept it, some people won't.
And some people won't. That's correct.
The tip of the
You're the tip of the sword.
the tip of the sword.
I do have another question though. Is that skull? Does it acknowledge any other extraterrestrials that could be on this planet? Is it aware of them? It doesn't even matter.
It's aware, yeah. It's because
yeah.
with the skull, it's multi-dimensional, and so it just because they're not in our frequency as we see them, because we're limited in our physical self, not our spiritual self, because by going into that consciousness, we're able to see them too. But the skull is always works on all frequencies, and that's what makes it very interesting, because people think they can, oh, we're going to do this, but it's so much bigger. It's like it's all around and looking down.
He's not limited.
So it's not a limiting thing. So it's kind of fun, and it's fun to learn about it, because I'm learning all the time. Even with all the work I've put into it, there's always a learning thing to it.
Interesting. Good.
That's a great point. So I was going to ask, and we have about 15 minutes left. I want to see a little bit more about personally you, Bill, and personally you, Catherine, how your relationship to the skull, your work, and working with so many people around the world, Aboriginal tribes and others, how it has been really, changing you, how it has been helping you personally to grow, to expand, maybe to move beyond certain personal barriers, maybe.
So, well, there are people that are here that came in with the responsibility to enlighten the world, just like you are bringing all this knowledge in, and you are standing shoulder higher than anyone, and you bring that light through. Well, with that, we're doing the same, and the fact is, by following, I find to always follow your heart and go with that good. A lot of times you feel, oh, should I do that? And you think, oh, it's may not be. It's going to put you in a position you're really uncomfortable because you never did it before. And I find that you need to take a chance in life and go with it, and that brings you to highest levels of all that you can be, and bringing out your full potential. And Be Around the Skull, it pushes you that way. And so I try to follow that. It started when I first was gifted the skull by Anna. And she found it on January 1st, 1924. That was her birthday. She passed it to me on April 11th, 2007. That was my birthday. So how that happened, that's pretty amazing, but it did. And so there's a lot of things all the time that, that are, when you look at them, it's like, wow. But, I try to follow, like when I first got the skull, I was called to go to Australia. So I went to Australia, and when I got there, the Aborigines were waiting for me, and they said that I would be there. Years ago, they were saying I was coming. That was before I even was the keeper of the skull. I was just helping Anna. And so when I got there, they took me out to this caldera, an ancient volcano, extinct volcano. And they said that the sun lines, they call them sun lines, had been open for hundreds and hundreds of years. And they wanted me to take the skull and put it on a circuit in place. And they did a ceremony. And about 15, 20 minutes, they said, okay, thank you. And I picked it up and walked away. But they said the sun line went through there, through the sea, all the way to Machu Picchu, and it had been broken for eons of time. So we were able to restart it. And then that what helped me to see how I now, when I take it all over the world, I can use it to help balance out the different the energy lines of the planet, the crystalline
Right.
structures of the planet. And I find that really interesting. But all of it is learning with it. They guide you and teach you, and you got to be open to it and say, hey, I got to just take a chance, go for it. And that's, I hope I answered that question, but in a roundabout way.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bill. What about you, Catherine?
Because I've always gotten messages from angels and stuff, they've been fairly either right on point, for me to be careful of something. There was danger, a warning kind of thing, or something about something good that was going to happen. So they were kind of, back then were kind of general. What is different for me now is when people come to us for a session and they're working with the skull, is how incredibly intimate and precise and shocking the messages are about someone's either their past life, what's going on now, something that is truly from their soul, that brings something out that needs to be brought out. When Bill is, sees the blockages, he can see the blockages in their psychic body or their body, but I can tell him where they're from and who put them there, or how they got there. Sometimes we'll see daggers in somebody's heart, and I can see I literally see the dagger coming out of the heart, and then the person who put it there. And that's been, and it
makes you feel better.
It really
Think
makes
about
you
it.
feel better. But that's been becoming the information is becoming sharper, extremely clear, more point on. I mean, what shocks me the most is he has not been wrong yet on one single person. And no matter how bizarre, and I mean, some of them lately have been incredibly bizarre. And I'm just like, this, this can't be real. And he'll just say it. And I tell him, and they say, oh my God, I've had this recurring dream, or I thought that's the part, So I've had, the person has always given me validation, and there'll be times when we'll have someone who's extremely blocked. I mean, extremely blocked. And he'll say, he'll go, this is what went on this past life, and that person is in your life now, and this is what they're doing to you. And if you don't get away from them, this is what's going to happen. And that looks, oh, that's ridiculous. They go home, and the next thing I know is we get this long email and says, you're absolutely right. I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to admit it. But that's how my life has changed. I'm just overwhelmed sometimes with how much comes through. And if a person is truly blocked, they're there because somebody wants them to be there, whatever. The skull will not. He'll just say they're a blockhead. I'm not talking to them.
Right.
We get
Right.
blockheads.
And that
I get
makes sense.
blockheads sometimes. Yeah. He goes,
Yeah,
they're
sometimes
blockhead.
people get
Never mind.
For sure. But the
Next.
thing is, it reminds all of us what you've both been sharing, that we all are interconnected. We're all part of that source
Absolutely.
consciousness.
Yeah.
And at this point, we talk about, I've seen personally in a spiritual conference, getting an arrow shot in my etherically in my shoulder, and I can see the arrow coming in and
Yeah.
feeling it, the pain. And I had my group coming in and this removing that and explaining why this happened and what is cascading effect. So what you're saying, it's absolutely, we're reopening ourselves to understand that we've been living in a very holographic, very multidimensional, very intelligent multiverses. So everything
Right.
is becoming a possibility. Now, really quickly, just for a few minutes, do you feel that the skull is connected also to the Earth history or the Earth crystalline archives that contain
Yes.
all the history of the planet?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, absolutely. No question.
Mhm.
Everything.
Do
Everything.
you
in
have to
this-
charge the
everything in-
skull?
Pardon me?
Do you have to charge it, like take it outside in the moonlight, like
No.
normal crystals? No.
No.
It's self-charging. So, but there's different ways of keeping it clean and just by helping it out. But and I have to watch the sun. If I have it in the sun,
We can't. Yeah.
that because of the prisms, it starts the bottom on fire.
So we
Relatively
put
fast.
extra filters on the windows because today's a sunny day, and we're doing this right in the
We don't
middle of
want,
the
we
day.
don't want to smoke it
We don't-
away.
Yeah, we don't want to set the house on fire.
So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And just as a reminder, everyone, the website, Catherine's website, is listed in today's episode description, just so on the screen. If you want to learn more, connects, explore Catherine's books and publications. It's right here. It's in the description. You can just have access to it. I just want to remind everyone.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, of course. Jeff and I have a philosophy that when we invite guests to our episode, our podcast, that we bring the focal point on our guests. This is
Mhm.
about them, not us. This is something that him and I were very much in alignment. Is it not the case, my friend?
Absolutely. It's all about the guest.
So
Thank you.
we didn't talk too much then. We're okay.
No,
We-
you're fine. You're fine. Totally fine.
We
I
wanted
can talk for hours and hours, but nobody wants to hear me talk, so that's totally cool.
Well, Jeff is a very humble person and yet gifted too. So you can.
Yeah.
People love to hear about you.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Can I,
go ahead,
can
Bill,
I say
please.
something about Divine Ray? Because we're working with that and it's coming out now. It's an app. It's for the spiritual community. And it's you don't have all the negative stuff that comes through in
No
ads
commercials.
and everything, but it's where people can come together spiritually and learn about different people's way they're working and stuff spiritually. So we think that's really timely for what's happening. So if you have a chance, just check out the app now, Divine Ray. So that's since we were working with it, we believe in it. And I keep forgetting to say anything. So I thought, oh, I better say it. Okay, thank you.
Good. Very, very good. Thank you so much, everybody. And just so you see, the Infinite Star Connection podcast will be back in December. We're going to wrap up 2025. And just so you know, the next episode will be on Sunday, December 14. Sunday, December 14, we have David Wallace in a connection to the Taurus constellation with Kim Jim, returning to us with some very profound messages about organic connections, the essentials, what we need to know, how we can prepare. So David Wallace has accepted to come back with Kim Jim of the Taurus constellation. We always love to hear about their journey and their messages. So that will be December 14 at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll make all the announcement. And then we're going to have also a December 21st, a winter solstice special edition. And we're going to wrap up season 6 here on the Infinite Star Connection podcast and the year, so we can prepare for the new year in 2026. So just to make some announcement here. And we are beyond grateful for all the shifts coming in. We're in this together. Look at the energy. I love when you turn. Yes, just feel it for a moment, everybody. Just tune in and just allow the connection to take place. Mm.
Yeah, when you look in the eyes, it takes you into that crystal palace. So that's kind of interesting. Oh, there we go with the joy again. Yeah.
Mm.
So thank you for inviting us and spending the time here.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. For those who are international, we have people from South Africa, New Zealand, and other places. It's a special holiday here. I call it harvest time. It's a time of gratitude, a time of shared blessings. It's a celebration of the harvest that we share with everyone around the world. And today, I want to invite you to really watch the replay and go back also when both Bill and Catherine are so graciously give us a meditation, transmission, very powerful messages, and reconnecting also with this beautiful ancient being in the form of a crystal skull. That is what is amazing. It's this being of ancient energy and connection and wisdom in the form of a crystal skull. Absolutely phenomenal. Do you have final few words, my friend Jeff?
It was really a pleasure to be with that energy. Very, very strong, I might add. And the Ponte warned me about that energy generator. They call it an energy generator. They don't call it a crystal skull. They said just be careful, because when it starts to go, it's like it goes boom. And if you ain't ready for it, it'll touch the people that need to be touched.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And the universal love is a powerful force, but it's what we need here now, right now, I feel. So yeah, great to share it with you, everybody. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so
No.
much.
We are very grateful for sure. Thank you also for being a guardian and say yes. The crystal skull one, it says say hello, and I want, instead of saying many blessing, I want to go say hello. So I'm saying hello to you, my friend. He wanted me to acknowledge the presence. Stay in your light, everyone. We'll be back here on the podcast December 14 with David Wallace and Kim Jim. In the meantime, take the time to absorb, integrate, and have your own beautiful relationship to the frequencies. And just remember, stay in your light, no fear. And we'll be right back here on the podcast. Bill and Catherine, thank you so very much. We are grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are grateful.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon, everyone.